What's happening? What's happening? Hey, family, welcome to the show. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Welcome to the midweek flow. Let me say, had a disturbing conversation in the beginning of the, setup for the show. Sales manager comes in talking about he has some banging pig feet, and it just messed up. It threw me off because I know people still eat pig feet. Do you still eat pig feet? And then he talked about the special way they was prepared, and I was telling Rod out that all I could see is that little hair on the feet, and like we out of slavery, y'all. We ain't gotta still do it. So I'm trying to regroup. Let me shake it off. Hold on. Okay, I'm ready. Do y'all still eat pig feet? I just wait. Somebody say hell yeah. Man. Really, you gonna inbox me on Facebook and say hell yeah? Okay, well, all right then. I guess that's one answer. Let me say good afternoon to the bros in the studio. What's up, Mr. Rideout?
Well,
here we go. It just can't never be easy. It can't be easy in the morning with Debo. It was never easy with Keon. And here you go, continuing the tradition.
Listen, if you want easy,
the only sane, rational brother in this studio is Carvey.
No, don't you believe the hype?
It's not rational.
Don't you believe?
I know there's Carvey after 10.
Listen,
but I don't get Carvey after 10.
You don't understand.
I get short shorts Carvey. I don't get Carvey after 10.
No, man.
What? I'm not hearing what he doing with it.
Listen,
what?
Carvey got special powers.
I know you said he hears stuff.
You hear that? He be like, dude, what are you talking about,
you
man?
Said he had
this guy be communicating
like
with aliens. Yeah, he hears stuff and his head turn like the dogs.
But that's still not cutting up.
Yeah.
Carvey is like fairly regular. Right. You are a problem.
Well, listen, if you want easy, you need Sunday morning. You want easy. But right now, it's gonna be a problem. Gonna be situations and complications. Yeah,
it's gonna be complications.
Situations and complications.
Really?
Yeah.
Is it?
Man, sometimes I talk like Jesse.
Situations
and complications that you got to duplicate to interpretate.
No, it would have been situations and complications that may require duplications of my foot.
See, listen here.
I'm just
Hold
saying.
on. Now I got to turn my left foot to the left because you
understand me. Words, Rob.
Yeah, that was all.
When Jesse do.
Yeah.
You broke.
Yeah, well, it's Tuesday. It's early in the week. I got to get my understand me back.
Tuesday.
Yeah, get my understand me back. It'll be back Friday.
Yeah. Okay, well, let me move on from you because it's Tuesday. What's happening, Carvey P? How you doing today, bruh? Carvey before 10. They had this Carvey wouldn't know, but people of a certain age would know this little jingle that used to advertise Nair razors. Girls wear short shorts.
I got one even better than that.
What you got?
Thighs high to the sky. Pum, 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 pum. To the sky. Thighs high.
So Carvey in here.
You gonna make me play it.
Carvey in here got the legs hanging out.
Oh man, he gonna get his Soul Train dance on with them legs out. Get his Soul Train. Show the upper thigh.
Carvey got the legs hanging out.
Oh, he gonna make me play it.
It got a little warm.
We wear short shorts. Carvey gonna tell us a whole nother.
Thomas is in the building. Julius Herman is in the building.
Starting for your Los Angeles Lakers in 1965. Carvey P. I can't come up with high socks, little shorts, and big thighs. I can't look like a buffalo with shorts on. That cat thigh is strong, ain't it?
Carvey got some things.
His thigh is strong. They just over there like, that's how that cat thighs is. His thighs over there strong.
Garvey said, I'm getting you.
Hey, I don't want no smoke, Carvey. Carvey gonna give me that work in a minute. I don't
Yeah,
work.
you know when he comes.
Ooh, I don't want that work.
I be like snakes. You don't know. Then you be bit. You be like,
Oh man.
oh snap. Ex Debo.
Yeah, he told Debo a whole nother. Debo, we still talking about that suit. Lord, I don't know.
I'm just saying.
Garvey did it.
But Carvey came here with his little shorts hanging on, like, what's up, bro? We showing legs. We out here in these streets, which they got a little hot. He warned you about what he say? He said it might be a little hot today. Mm. Well, you ready?
God's hot. Choose God.
Dude said that's hot.
God's
To the
hot.
sky. To
Ain't
the
that
sky.
Tom Brown?
That's crazy.
God's hot.
Okay, I'm done. I need to move on. Capris.
Oh, Capri.
Oh, Debo wear capris.
A onesie.
Debo wear gauchos.
It's a onesie. Debo
It's a difference.
It's a onesie.
It's a difference. Debo wear gauchos.
Oh,
Let's
gauchos.
be clear. Look up gauchos online. Yeah, Kamala Harris wear capris.
Debo.
But I remember my brother had on some one day. And he sent me a picture to me. I look at it. I'm getting it in. I said, you got on gauchos? He was like, nah, this is mid capris. I was like, that don't even sound right. Even to say it sounds problematic.
Grown man onesies. It's too short.
What'd you say?
Say grown man onesies.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
When did it do? That was dude had on a onesie. That must have been in the morning. Because somebody, I think that was Debo said, look across the street, bro's outside.
With a onesie
at
on.
7:30 in the morning with a onesie on. We got a caller. Somebody calling about Carvey
Lord
shorts.
have mercy.
What's
Jesus.
going on?
Lord.
Hey, caller, what's happening?
I just happened to be out and about driving around, having just left the building, and I do not wear gauchos.
got him.
Who is this? I'm sorry. Who is this?
This is Mr. Debo.
Oh,
anybody who refers to themselves as Mr., they wear gauchos.
Yeah. In the third party.
Anybody who refers to themselves as Mr. most likely wears gauchos.
Well, let me say this: at least I don't show up when I ain't nobody else there.
See,
you see how he wanted to kick it out? Because I wasn't even gonna do it.
Come get the
mic. You see how dirty he is?
You already promised. You promised him that you had something special. Because I heard him. He was the one that kicked it off, wasn't he?
No. Yeah. Kinda. Well, thank you, caller. We appreciate your input today.
Debo.
Hey, Michelle. I should do my meet impersonation. Invite me on for 15 minutes.
Or Debo.
Your voice too clear.
Wait, Debo, don't hang up yet. I need you to go home, go to your closet, and put the phone in your closet so your suit can sing to all your other suits. Lord, I don't know. Bye, Debo.
Why do y'all play? Y'all play too much.
Hey, Carvey started it.
He gonna come back in here.
Dude, his suit is having a
like
concert in his closet.
Back.
All by himself. He's singing hard like, no, I don't know.
You act like you ain't got to see this man.
I know.
Man,
that's
y'all
the
need
problem.
to stop ribbing. Y'all gotta know how to get in and get out. Y'all get in and stay too long.
Yeah, doctor, we stay in that
y'all
thing.
Stay too
we
long.
ripping to pieces.
You gotta get in and get out.
Like an armed robbery,
speaking of get in and get out. So this morning, let me just clear this up real quick before I go on to the rest of the show.
Mm-hmm.
So this morning, I was talking about the little fake controversy about whether or not Kamala Harris was pandering because she said she washed greens in the bathtub because there were so many greens that they were doing for a big Christmas Eve party, an annual party, that she would wash them in the bathtub. And one of the things that I tried to explain this morning is that that's a generational thing on some level, because while she looks amazing, Kamala Harris is 60 years old. People of a certain age demographic can tell you that they remember seeing somebody possibly wash greens in uh, a metal foot tub, same foot tub that people used to take a bath in, because folks didn't know, everybody didn't have running water in their house or whatever was going on. And there are folks that, said, a lady called in, she said, my mother used to wash greens in the wash machine and let them run the cycles, because picking greens out the dirt, not them greens y'all go to the store and get, that a lot of the work has been done for you in terms of cleaning, but them joints that come straight from the ground, that come straight to your table, them things be so nasty that you soaking. And so people, because, like one of the things I was like listening to people, because I was like, well, I don't know what your tub look like, but my tub is clean. And not that I've ever washed greens in the tub, but I could, because my tub is clean, like bleach clean. So anyway, a listener this morning, took exception. And or she said, I'm just going to say he or she. He said that she was pandering and lying. It shows she isn't Black. And then I said something about, and he said, oh, went to our website, didn't see no policies. So I said, then he said, how many Indian people eat collard greens? And I was like, well, her daddy is Jamaican. So then this afternoon, when I come back in, because I texted him, like, why do you text me OMG? And he was like, because I know you can do better. Okay, that's a whole nother moment. But he was like, I asked my Indian brothers and sisters and my Jamaican brothers and sisters, they don't eat collard greens. Okay, for the 7 Indians and Jamaicans that you know. Because if you talk to 7 Black people, you can find 7 Black people who don't eat chitlins. But you can find 70 that do. You can find 7 Black people that don't eat pig feet, but you can find others that do. So let's not make the totality of the Jamaican experience the few little handful of people you talk to. And if you go and Google this whole thing, while collard greens are not native to Jamaica, they use other types of greens, but that does not mean that they are not brought in and that you can't make a dish out of them. And they do. It's just like a whole bunch of food that we eat that's not indigenous to Wisconsin. It's grown in other parts of the country and other parts of the world. Just because I don't grow mangoes does not mean that I don't have access to mangoes and don't cook with mangoes or have made a dish with mangoes. So I'm just going to say, and do stop trying so hard to say nonsense that this woman in some way, shape, or form is not Black. That's just the most idiotic foolishness. It's just foolish. She's not Black because what? Because like, what are you saying? Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello, Michelle.
Yes, hello.
Yes, this is Corinda Rollins calling. The way I do my greens, the first water, I put salt in there. If it's any bug or grit, they go to the bottom.
Right.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I learned that too when I was growing up.
Okay. And plus, I have my degree in culinary art, so I didn't learn that in art. I learned that the hard way. I'm 78 years young.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate it. You heard what she said. I learned that at school with a degree attached to it, just so we clear about what was just said. While traditions get passed down, yeah, that's a degreed piece of information. Let me go to the phone line. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello?
Hey, Michelle.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you a question because I heard something today And I was watching Joy Reid about a week ago, and I hope this ain't true what I heard today.
What's that?
When she was saying that, I forgot who it was. I guess she must have said something, and 45 must have called her name, and she said that it was too vulgar for her to repeat. But somebody told me that he posted or something like that with a picture of somebody else, and he called her the B word. Is that true?
Well, they definitely have. Are you talking about Donald Trump calling Kamala Harris the B word? Yeah, I mean, it's been reported a number of times that he's done it. Definitely in private, on calls. He's been on calls with other Republicans and called her a B. But I actually talked about that, I think a week ago, that, yeah, there was something out there in which he called her out her name.
So, but you don't know what it was.
Let me pull it up real quick.
And she said that she didn't even want to say it. And if that's what he said, and I'm like, nobody on none of these talk shows with his people question him about that.
So so Vanity Fair and Politico have done articles this past August, in which one is actually titled "Donald Trump called Kamala Harris the B word multiple times," and then another one, "Trump calls Harris a beautiful woman." But in the body of the story, you can read where it says behind closed doors, he's called her the B word a number of times. So yes, it's been I talked about it like in August when it first came up that, they were reporting it, that, yeah, he definitely called out her name.
Oh, okay. And last week when I told you even some of the people I think that kind of seem like they lean in Democrat, I think when them people come on their shows and, like you said, they acting stupid, how she wash her greens, but all this idiotic stuff, he says they give him a pass on it.
Yeah, that part. Because like I said, she's lying. Like, how why she got to be lying about cleaning collard greens? Like, you at somebody's house and you know what they do. And then when I said historically, we can find other people who say the exact same thing. So it's not off the charts that it could be possible. I just find that it's so much more to be concerned about. But you're not concerned about him going to Arlington and him being Donald Trump and pushing a woman. We ain't worried about that. We worried about whether or not Kamala Harris actually watched collard greens and he didn't push the woman. His campaign staff pushed the woman, but he denied that the whole thing even happened. It's so much more that we could be focused on.
Or grabbing ladies by the pee. He lied about everything.
Yeah, I mean, we ain't even got to go back.
Every time he opened his mouth, he lied.
Yeah, we don't have to go back.
They worried about her lying about some collard greens. He lying about this IBS stuff.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean,
nobody
now,
ain't holding his feet to the fire on that.
Right. I mean, that's why I said the conversations are so ridiculous. Like, you want me to waste time talking about stuff, but all of the things that this man says that are a true threat to democracy and the way we run our elections, the way people trust our systems, calling the media fake because you don't like a story or an outcome, all of that is so much more important. But you worried about if Kamala Harris is black enough. Trust me. If you look at her paperwork, I'm sure it say black. I'm sure that's what her birth certificate say. It say black. It don't say nothing else. It most likely just says black. Thank you, bruh. I appreciate the call.
Thank you, Michelle.
Let me go to the next caller. Hey, caller, what's happening?
How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you today?
I'm about the same. And I'm going to repeat a couple of things I heard. I told you and your colleagues before that y'all need to get to work on giving postgraduate credit for y'all shows. And that can be did. A lot of people are doing it. And y'all could get accredited. I would be on the staff if you wanted me to be. Other thing about the color of Kamala. Kamala, I don't know if I'm saying it right, but it really doesn't matter to her. And it doesn't matter to most people except somebody that want to make it ignorant. This black and white race thing, as I said before, this is original by me. It's my opinion. They came up with white and black to convince the ignorant how to discriminate. Because if a person is almost white or almost black and they go into certain areas, They will tell you what you are. They don't have to look it in the papers. And another thing, I'm wondering, a lot of people are wondering why so many people go for the stupid stuff that these Trumpers say. And if they had common sense, couldn't believe they would go that way. There are two reasons. There might be a few exceptions. These Trumpsters are gangsters. This is a blog on TV right now where this lady got beat or something because she was a Trumper and she went somewhere and said the wrong thing and they whooped her and she was in the January 6th thing and they arrested her and she pled guilty and she told the truth and that's why they beat her. And anybody who is a Trumpster and has a little bit of CDS is common damn sense. if they got a little of that, they're doing it for money or intimidation. And y'all have a good one.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, family, I got to take a quick break. When we come back, a lot to get to this afternoon, so we're going to be moving fast. Michelle Bryant, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM, the Midweek Flow. Be right back. All right. Y'all know it couldn't be the 3rd of September and we not play Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Go ahead. Because you're going to add some gospel to it.
Oh, hallelujah.
See?
Felt that thing.
You're going to have the prayer warriors coming up here to get at you.
Hallelujah. Felt that thing. That thing rooted.
You ain't feel that.
That thing rooted. That thing rooted.
So if Dennis moved you, if Dennis Edwards moved you, one of the things, and I was listening to Karen, what's Karen's name? I can't think of Karen's name. Oh, Sirius XM, because she was talking about it, and I was actually going to play this when I came in anyway, but she had said something that I didn't know, and I had to go look it up. So first of all, Papa Was a Rolling Stone was a cover that the Temptations did. That was not originally their song. It was done by this group, like I don't even know their name. And
that's terrible.
Seriously, I don't even know their name. And several months after they released it, the Temptations did a cover. And the Temptations version is the one that we all know and sing.
That's stuck. Yeah.
So evidently Dennis Edwards had like a problem with the way the song started. It was the 3rd of September because his father actually died on the 3rd
of September
of October.
What?
So it's like,
come on, man, 30 days later.
Come on, bruh. I'm like, you giving people a hard time because your daddy died on October 3rd, but you couldn't. It just was so extra. Like Dennis Edwards was always just a whole lot. I'm telling you, just extra.
Wow.
So he actually didn't even want to sing the opening, lyrics to the song, but 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
Can you close that door for me, Carl? Because I'm getting that back feedback. But 12 minutes long for this song, and it goes on to become like everybody and their daddy know Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
Well, see, what took so long, it was a bunch of walking going on. That cat that was playing the guitar, man.
But so they said that they purposely made the intro super duper long to irritate Dennis Edwards so that when he finally started singing, because there needs to be a degree of anger in this song. So because they said that the Temptations was like, dog, when is we gonna come in, man? When is y'all gonna start?
I bet they was in the mood like
like they can't wait. Oh, they can't see you.
Oh man, y'all missing it. Y'all missing it.
Oh man, I got. But yeah, so they said like they was actually getting irritated. So by the time Dennis sings, he got that extra in his voice because y'all took too long, and that's how you get Papa Was a Rolling Stone.
But just imagine you standing there waiting to sing, and you hearing horns and waka
and wait. So it's 2024, 1972. This joint, oh my God, this song is 52 years old.
52 years old.
It was released 1972, December 1972. It became the Temptations #1, or the Temptations single was the #1 on the Billboard Hot 100, 1972.
Wow.
Song is 52 years old.
And it's crazy because it's still a hit to this day.
I mean, I don't care when you hear it.
Yeah.
And you gonna sing it.
Yeah.
And everybody just about gonna know it.
Yeah. I mean, when I say that thing is rooted, I really mean that thing. It's rooted.
So they said the song won a Grammy for Best R&B Instrumental. The B-side to the single was an instrumental passage. Also received or awarded a Grammy for Best R&B Song. And the Temptations would receive Best Vocal Performance by a Group for this song.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And so that lineup, Melvin Franklin, Eddie Kendricks, David Ruffin, Otis Williams, Paul Williams, is what it eventually becomes. And, it's just crazy when you think about the legacy of this song.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a great legacy. Like this music, and even after this generation, will still be around.
And just to give proper respect and homage, the group that originally released it 4 months earlier, the name of that group was called The Undisputed Truth.
Wow.
It went nowhere on the charts.
I wonder if they get some type of royalty rights for it. They probably
They got
didn't.
to whoever wrote it.
Whoever
The
wrote
band, the performers don't get nothing.
Of course.
But of course.
Of course.
But yeah, whoever wrote it, let's see who wrote it.
Now, if he wrote it and did it right and then do his business.
That's what I was going to say.
And the Temptations.
You might have wrote it. Who wrote?
Yeah, because the Temptations, they was on Motown, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so Barry Gordon owned that joint.
Who wrote it? Who wrote it? Who originally wrote Papa? Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong. Okay. It was written by Norman Whitfield and Barrett Strong in 1971. Whitfield produced the original Undisputed Truth version, which was released in May 72. Yeah, they had to do a whole. I wonder how that original sounded. We got to go find it and play it. Okay, yeah, we're going to go find that and play that. So, we're going to find the
original version?
The Undisputed Truth version of Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Undisputed Truth made Smiling Faces. Oh, no, really?
Oh, really?
I didn't know that's who made that. Smiling Faces.
Now, I know that they used to do
faces.
a lot of, they would cover each other's music. Like Luther did a lot of covers.
Yeah.
But his ended up sticking to the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. The people that
but Smiling Faces was the jam.
Yeah. Smiling
so I'm kind of surprised that we got a caller.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, let's get them in. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you today?
I'm doing real great. I just want to let you know Who's Loving You, written by Michael Jackson, was originally written by Michael Jackson. It was originally written by Smokey Robinson and the Miracles in 1962. But Michael Jackson wrote it in 1976. And you should also hear Smokey Robinson's version of it. The harmonizing is phenomenal. It really is.
Is it?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
He originally wrote it in 1967.
I just pulled it up. We're going to see if we can play it.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, bruh. Look, he said, just since we correcting the record, let's correct the record on that too. So in any case, this has been a thing without fail. My man, Mr. Jackson Malone, was around. I would forget the 3rd of September and he would play it and he would just look at me like, you slip it. So, you found it?
I found the original.
Okay, let's hear it.
Papa died. We was very young. Never heard nothing but bad things on you.
So they had a woman sing that part.
Yeah, it was like 1,000 of them.
Yeah, it was like 10 in the
Yeah.
Carvey say like the flow of the Temptations. Yeah, I mean, but it sounds very different until you actually hear him singing it, and then the cadence and stuff is similar. But okay, you got me with that one.
Yeah.
Shut up. So we got to hear the Smokey Robinson version of "Who's Loving You." Let's see what they got. All right, y'all. I wasn't trying to do no music show today. I am gonna get I am gonna get to some news and some politics and whatever. But that is interesting that somebody calling in trying to get information on that song we just played. Was Whitfield, Norman Whitfield, and Barrett Strong. Whitfield, Barrett. Dude, stop smoking before you come to work, fam. Somebody trying to get info on it. Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna do that. While we're doing that, a couple of things. This morning we had tried to see if we were going to be able to have an interview with Tony Award winning actor, um, individual that is engaged and enlightened and talks about any array of subjects that are important to this community, none other than Mr. Wendell Pierce. There is a possibility that we're going to be able to talk to him this afternoon. He is either in Milwaukee already or supposed to be in Milwaukee for an upcoming event that's happening. So I will keep you posted if we are going to be able to have that conversation after all today. If so, looking forward to it. All right, we got Who's Loving You? Smokey Robinson, the original. As people have told us. Oh, wait, hold on. We got my man on the line. Look up. All right, family. So as I had said this morning, we were hoping to have a conversation with none other than Wendell Pierce. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we have him on the line. Mr. Pierce?
Yes,
What's happening, sir? How you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Good afternoon.
Oh my God, that voice is amazing. That voice is so rich and amazing. I would say it's a moneymaker, but your looks help too. I'm just gonna say.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Well, first of all, welcome to the show. So glad we were able to get you in this afternoon. We were expecting to talk to you this morning. Are you already in town or are you heading our way?
No, I am working in New York right now, and will be there this weekend. So
Okay.
I'm working and filming in New York, and will arrive this weekend for something that I have been looking forward to for some time, and something I wanted to do specifically. I asked to come to Milwaukee.
Well, you know
And
what? First of all, phenomenal because I was one that has, I watched, you at the DNC being interviewed. We played some of those clips this morning. I also played a clip that you did on the Al Sharpton show over on MSNBC,
yes,
talking about, rental discrimination and about why it was important for brothers to be engaged. We have been having an ongoing series of conversations about the significance and importance of Black men being involved politically, civically engaged, particularly leading up to the November election.
absolutely.
Can you take a minute or two and just explain or, help us understand why this is something that you are paying close attention to?
Well, first of all, I think it's there's this misnomer. There's a part of the misinformation campaign that automatically is saying that Black men are voting for Donald Trump. So that's misinformation. But at the same time, I welcome the challenge by Black men who have said, why should I vote for Democrats? What are you going to do for me? And that is actually a refrain that a lot of people may see as a negative approach towards Kamala Harris, who I fully endorse. But it really isn't. It's absolutely acceptable. It is something that I expect people to do, which is to challenge us. If I want you to vote, I want you to challenge me. And I think that our campaign, and the reason I vote Democrat and why I've been a Democrat for so long, is because they have done so much for our community. Going back to the child care and the idea of Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, the civil rights movement, the voting rights movement. Something that helped me when I was rebuilding New Orleans, the community development legislation of the 90s that came out when we were being discriminated against, not being able to get loans for businesses or on personal loans. It was because of the Democrats and the Democratic legislation of the community development legislation that gave money to banks and said you will only get this money if you put it into those underserved communities and those Black communities and those poor communities who need it. And if you do well in doing that, you will then get another allotment of money the next year. And it's the community development block grants that we all know and we use in our cities, community development grants that we received as I put together my community, a historic neighborhood in New Orleans, Country Train Park, Black community that grew out of the civil rights movement when we could not get a house anywhere after World War II. This was a neighborhood that we took as a part of the civil rights movement and made it into one of the ideal communities in New Orleans. And when we were destroyed in Katrina, I galvanized the community, created a community development corp out of that legislation, received money so that I could rebuild my community. We did 40 homes. It is with that legislation that we bring banks into our community, community development financial institutions. And it's all of these things. And we're actually going to show a film of a young man in Little Rock who was just a barber. And he would help people every once in a while and realized that he needed to do more, went to his community, realized it needed a lending institution, created his own community development financial institution, and opened a bank in one of the poorest neighborhoods in Little Rock. And it is helping Black folks in Black community. On top of that, the improvement of unemployment, the increase in Pell Grants, the student debt relief, the medical debt relief, all of that is from Democrats. So when Black men come to me and say, what have you done for me? I can go down that litany of things. Then I ask them, why don't you ask the other side what they have done for you? And they can't say anything. If anything, they've stolen our ideas. The Veterans Choice Act, signed into law by President Obama, but President Trump touts because he extended it as his own idea. Empowerment zones created by President Obama in poor Black communities that now Trump and his friends use as tax write-offs. They go buy a property in our communities and just land bank them, sit on them, let them deteriorate, rot, and then they use it as a tax write-off against their billionaire companies. And so those are the sort of things that we have to pay attention to. You know, that's the thing that I ask Black men to pay attention to when they ask, what have the Democrats done for us? Then I ask them to look at their own tradition. They're Black men. They're men. There are many that have come before us that we are a long line of warriors, I would say, social justice warriors, men who risked their lives so that we could have the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that this country would live up to the values that only exist on paper if we don't put them into action. Going all the way back to those who went against slavery and insurrections, who in Reconstruction built our political communities, who actually died in massacres. In my state of Louisiana, the Colfax massacre, when they won the election and then were killed by Confederates. Wilmington, North Carolina, when we won the election, they could not see a government that was seated with more Black men than they had ever seen before. And they took over the government and succeeded in overthrowing that local government. We talk about the men and women who died alone in the mud of Mississippi and Alabama at the hands of their white neighbors because they had the audacity to go out and register and vote. We talk about Selma, Alabama, and Philadelphia, Mississippi, and the list goes on and on. But this is not just the past, Black men. We are also talking about the recent history where James Byrd was lynched in the early 2000s You see George Floyd, who was on camera murdered by a police officer, and we're looking at what happened to the young lady just now in St. Louis. So we have an obligation to live up to the legacy of those who have gone before us and given us a blueprint. And even if you think your vote doesn't have an impact, at least out of honor due to those who have come before us, you should vote. So I say to those who say, as Black men, why should I vote? Because you have a long tradition of the history of social justice warriors who are asking you to vote. And remember, there's blood on that ballot box. And you owe it to them. If you actually have any sort of civic pride and pride in your community, even if you think it's a trivial act, vote in honor of those who think it's more important. Honor them by voting. Then if you ask, why am I asking you to vote for Democrats? I ask you, vote for yourself. Be selfish. I don't want you to vote for Kamala Harris. I don't want you to vote for Donald Trump. I want you to vote for yourself. Vote for your best interest. And I am confident that when you see what is being placed in front of you, offered by Kamala Harris, you choose her. But vote for yourself. Vote for your own best interest. And that's my mantra.
So, if I could for just a moment, I didn't start the interview off by talking about your career in the entertainment genre. The roles that you have played, classics. If I could get past your role in Waiting to Exhale, I'd be doing great. But I'm just sorry, cemented in my brain. I just love the character and the way you handled it. But I had people when they heard
for your listeners, they should know I was Michael.
Yeah,
I was the guy who was so happy,
Leela Rashad,
that he was about to have an intimate moment with Robin that he danced his way into the bedroom.
I'm telling you, because I'm like, I know this brother. I have seen this brother, and the joy in the whole moment. I will never forget the smile on your face. I just adored the way you played that character. But when people found out that there was a possibility we were going to talk to you, immediately ask them, are they going to do The Wire again? Ask them, about The Wire and that role. I wanted people to first hear the other side, the civically engaged, the politically conscious brother, because it made me think about when, NBA players or LeBron James or others have weighed into political territory and folks have, brushed them off, pushed them back. I think the phrase was go dribble, go play basketball, go dribble. And even when Kerry Washington.
And for me, they say, stay in your lane.
Okay, perfect. So you see where I'm going.
Just be an actor, and you're not that good of an actor.
Right? Well, I know you got a lot of people that would disagree, but this was the thing. Because when Carrie was on stage and she talked about all the other different hats that she wore in relationship to why she was at the DNC and why she was, being engaged, I thought about you. I thought about, people will say like, this bro got it. I mean, you successful, you making money. You probably don't have a lot of the issues that we do. Yeah, they ain't let your boy rent, but would somebody really have stopped you from renting? What do you say to the people who are like, this dude is disconnected from a lot of the day-to-day struggles that everyday brothers are dealing with? So it's easy to talk game when you're not impacted. What would you say to
Well, I tell those people they're misinformed. I welcome that. I welcome those criticisms as well, because then they don't know that in my community, we were totally destroyed by Katrina. Not one of the 1,000 homes were unaffected. And so it was I that said, there, but by the grace of God, go I. I was a part of that. That was my childhood home. My parents still lived there. They were in their 70s and 80s. And I had a responsibility to them. I had a responsibility to my family, but then I have a responsibility to my community as well. I had a voice. I had a platform to give voice to the voiceless. I actually own a radio station in New Orleans, similar to your radio station, 1,000 watt WBOK, 1230 AM in New Orleans. It's a legacy station that goes back 70 years, where Black folks would be able to come on and discuss what's happening in their community and how to impact their community for the better. I reconstituted my neighborhood association. I understand what it's like not to have. My mother always said people are going to tell you that you're doing well and doing great, but hey, listen, we poor folk too. Right? My mother would always tell me that. She said, you know, we one paycheck away from being in the poorhouse. So I understand the value of work, but also that criticism is just a distraction. Because I always say to that person, okay, fine, what are you doing? Right? If you want to condemn me, who am I? I'm not just speaking and giving you an opinion. I'm actually putting my beliefs into action. And that's the difference between these two campaigns. Donald Trump is all talk. Everybody talks about where's the policy? Where's the policy? I've just given you a litany of policy. But no one could ever tell me one policy of Donald Trump's. You know? We know one, which is giving tax breaks to the rich.
To the wealthy.
And if anything, I tell people that's a distraction. Like most racism, it's a distraction. It's something to put you on the defensive so you can try to qualify and explain what and why you're doing it. I don't have time for that. You know, we don't have time for that. And I tell people that to be civically engaged or someone who's doing well, you should not see them as someone who's not a part of your community. We are a reflection of your community. I'm only successful because of my community. It is my community that recognized my work first. And I also, as an actor, have a legacy and tradition as well, right? As I explained, Black men, we have a legacy in social justice movement going all the way back to Denmark Vesey and Harriet Tubman and Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, and so we have that connection already, and I have it in my line of work. There was Harry Belafonte and Ossie Davis and Sidney Poitier and Ruby Dee and Rose McClendon, Ira Aldridge, going all the way back to the late to Reconstruction, where he started a theater company called the African Grove in New York, one of the first Black companies in New York, where they shut down because they actually, to honor the segregation laws of New York City, the whites had to be separated from the Blacks, but they had to sit in the back. And so all of a sudden, that injustice, they were trying to honor the laws and had a successful play, and they were shut down for that. But also, it was in the midst of the draft riots, where so many Black folks were killed in New York because white men did not want to be drafted to go and fight in the Civil War. So he, as an actor, made sure that people were civically engaged in New York, going all the way back to the late 19th century.
That's right.
Then you have Harry Belafonte and Sidney Poitier actually flew money into Philadelphia, Mississippi, and were on the same road that Goodman, Cheney, and Schwerner were on when they were murdered, when SNCC activists came in the middle of the night and picked them up from the airport before the Klan got there. So we as actors, and those same actors, Black and white, right? Someone who ultimately we had a differing opinions in politics, Charlton Heston, joined them on the March of Washington, Sammy Davis Jr. and Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte. Harry Belafonte is the true North Star for any artist who understands that they have to be civically engaged. He sets the barometer by which you judge yourself.
But let me ask you,
I have a responsibility, and I know I'm going on and on.
No, you're fine.
About what I believe.
No, you are fine, because and I'll wrap here, because it's one thing to say civically engaged. That's fine. It's another when you look at the body of work, contributions, the things that you've chosen and deliberately been a part of. When you think about the work to address food deserts back in New Orleans, I remember seeing the name.
Another accomplishment because of Democrats. When people say, what have Democrats done for us? Food deserts, when grocery stores ignore our neighborhoods, right? And don't come into it. We're a food desert because you have to go a particular number of miles before you get access to a grocery store. And that was a real problem in New Orleans, especially post-Katrina. I was bringing back housing in our community, but I also had to bring back a grocery store. And we saw an opportunity that was away from my neighborhood, but it was a food desert. And it was because of the Democrats who put money into the farm bill that allowed us to access some of that money, right? And actually give it to our landlords. We said we got $1 million a store in New Orleans for every new store up to 14 that were opening. We were opening one. We got that money and we gave it to our landlords so we could get a good lease and move forward. So we didn't even put it towards our bottom line, but we were able to bring a grocery store to a food desert. So these are the same sort of things that Vice President Kamala Harris intends to do. Just today, she's talking about bringing down prices in the grocery stores, that's putting in price controls to stop gouging that's happening, making sure that people have access to homes. Now, all of those in our community, Black men, who we know are on housing vouchers, it is because of Democrats and because of Vice President Harris that you are allowed to, once you have an opportunity to buy a home, you'll be able to get $25,000 towards your first purchase of a home. Then it is because of existing Democratic legislation that you can take your housing voucher and pay that mortgage. A voucher that you were only using in public housing, going to someone else. Section 8 is a landlord welfare program, not a welfare program for the tenant. But here you will be able to use that voucher to pay that mortgage for your first 5 years towards ownership of your home as you build equity. That is hands-on building wealth, economic development in Black community done by legislation from the Democratic Party and from our Vice President, Madam Kamala Harris, who will soon be president, and extending that sort of work so that economic development continues in Black communities. So challenge us, Black men. What are we going to do for you? That's what we're going to do for you.
And so one last thing, as we talk about the event that's coming up this weekend. So can you give people just a quick kind of overview of what it is you're coming in town to do?
On Saturday, we are going to have barbershop conversations. We're going around to the barbershops to have the same conversations that we're having here, to engage people, to register people, to canvas, and let us tell you what we're going to do for the communities. Ask us what you expect from our campaign and from Vice President Harris and the campaign, the Harris-Walz campaign. Then we're going to have a happy hour with Black professionals so we can engage with them. We're launching phone banks to make sure that we get out the vote. And then in the evening, we're going to have another screening of that film I told you. The Barber of Little Rock is an Oscar-nominated film. It's only about 25 minutes long, a short film that shows you what this one Black barber did in his community in Little Rock that can be replicated throughout the country, and especially in places like Milwaukee. I wanted to come there, and especially Milwaukee, because it's going to decide this race. Never before has it been so distinctly clear that it's going to be the men and women of Milwaukee that will decide how Wisconsin goes, and the way Wisconsin goes will decide where this country goes. And I think the importance of that, I purposely asked the campaign to go to Milwaukee, to come to Milwaukee so that I can talk to my community there. And I support Mayor Johnson, what's reflected in the sort of work that we're doing and the replacement of all the lead pipes that are happening there, the infrastructure change that's happening in Milwaukee. That's hands-on, tangible manifestation of what policy and voting and activism and getting involved can do. It is no small thing And there was a mantra in the civil rights movement: when evil people plot, good people plan. So I'm coming there to plan. We're going to go from barbershops and beauty shops in the morning and canvas. We're going to G's barbershop. And then we're going to have the screening of this film and have discussions around that. Also have roundtables and discussions about what the expectations the community has of the campaign. And then the campaign, me being a surrogate, will tell you what more we can do and how important. We're coming to earn the votes of the people in that community, not to demand the votes, not to shame people into voting, not to castigate anybody for their doubts or anything like that. We're here to show you that this is an opportunity economy that we're building on. What we have done in the past, what the vice president has done in her administration, and what she will do as president of the United States. And that's all happening on Saturday. Then on Sunday morning, going to 2 church services and then have a little brunch and get back on the plane because I have to get to work on Monday morning.
Okay, so 2 things. Someone sent me a text message and said, Michelle, I love him, in all caps. He actually sounds like a congressman. That was one. And then the second thing that came through was, will he tell us what project he's working on in New York? Can we know? So
yes,
please let us
yes.
know what's happening.
I am presently on a show on CBS called Elsbeth, which is like Columbo, but it's a woman. And I play Captain Wagner, a police chief. I'm also on a show called Raising Canaan, Power Book 3. And I play Snaps. And along with my wife, Erica Woods, who will be joining me, my wife on the show, she plays Pop. And she will be joining me. She said, Wendell, you're going, I want to come to Milwaukee too.
Hey.
And so Erica Woods from Raising Canaan, who plays Snaps, Pop. So Snaps and Pops from Raising Canaan will be there. And then I'm also about to do a film of Jack Ryan, which will be coming out next year. Yeah, so staying busy, staying very.
And the fact that you have, dedicated time to this cause and, these issues, I think certainly number one is to be commended, but it's so needed. And, the fact that you looked at Milwaukee as a targeted area, because many of us that work in politics and work, in this landscape, we understand that the number of folks that stay home can flip, an election on its head should they decide to show up. And having it come from a brother, a strong male figure, connected to our community who has so much going on. Because one of the frustrating things I've dealt with here is Black men that are in the Republican Party telling, brothers, come into the big tent because this is where you'll be respected. Come into the big tent of the Republican Party because this is where you as a businessman will thrive. Come into the big tent because you as an individual will be encouraged and motivated. And it moves away from the communal and the community, and it's more about individual accomplishment and achievement. And so to hear a brother
here's the interesting thing about that.
Go ahead.
That's the biggest lie. Because come start your business, but yet it's that same Republican Party that when Black women got together on their own as capital ventures saying we're going to give $20,000 grants to other Black women to start their own business, no public money, no help from the government, pulling ourselves up by our bootstraps, which they so urgently always say we should do. And what did they do? They took us to court to stop it.
The Fearless Fund.
$2 billion, the Fearless Fund. $2 billion going to Black farmers who have historically been discriminated against by our own USDA. And it's Democrats who fought to make sure that they got $2 billion. And who was it that went to stop that in court? Republicans stopped it in court, said it was discriminatory. Please, we want the best for your kids and best for education. What happened? The Republicans are trying to take funds from public schools and give them to private schools and say to you, don't teach Black history under the guise of some sort of, we don't want white children to feel offended. And their plan is to eliminate the Department of Education. So while the man tells you, come, you're welcome, we're just going to do everything possible to make sure you don't thrive.
I mean,
now, I've given you time. I've given you examples of education opportunity, medical opportunity. We haven't even talked about the Affordable Care Act and the expansion of Medicare and Medicaid. Right? In Louisiana, our governor said, we don't want the money. We don't want anything to come down here for poor Black folks in the city of New Orleans. 70% of the city is Black, but yet, 90% of the poverty is Black. So it's that sort of thing. It is by design that we are impoverished, not because we don't have it within our ability to do it. People say that we're fractured and we're not fragmented. We have example after example in every generation of how we can come together and build wonderful, huge, wonderful things. Even in your beer industry, there's a young man I know in New Orleans who's one of the few beer brewers who, I think of that because I'm coming to Milwaukee, who has his own company. You think about Uncle Nearest, who actually taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey, and how now to see his descendants a thriving company now. Mr. Johnson and publication in Chicago, going all the way back to the Chicago Defender and the Soldiers Without Swords like Ida B. Wells and the Pittsburgh Courier and all. We have example after example in all of our industries of great successes. But yet we see how much effort and time goes into making sure that underclass is kept in our community. So we have to make sure that we fight against that. And this is like a chronic disease. We make the mistake, the one mistake we make is constantly thinking once we've won that battle, we can relax. No, it's like a chronic disease, right? What's your blood sugar today? Like the blood, diabetics have to always be constantly aware of that. And like this, we have to understand that there are those who do not have our best interest at heart. And we have to be ever vigilant. We have to be socially active. We have to make sure that we are exercising our right of self-determination. Exercise your right of self-determination. And as I told my community in New Orleans, I said, you can come to this meeting and complain all you want. But the price to complain is bring a solution to the table.
My man.
You can't just come and complain without saying, bring a solution to the table. What I'm saying is come and complain, and I'm, along with this campaign, bringing solutions to the table. That's what we have to offer you, not just some carrot on the stick that if you vote for me, you might be a rich white guy one day too. That's all you have from the other side.
Well, I keep saying I'm gonna end, but it keeps getting good. So, but I'm gonna end. Respect your time. I do want to appreciate the fact that you shouted out my boy John Renthrope down in New Orleans, the Cajun Fire Brewing Company.
Yes.
Yeah, Cajun Fire Honey. Oh, yes.
Cajun Fire Honey.
That's a bad boy, young brother. So thank you for mentioning that. And I was smiling. I just picked up Whiskey and Love, the Uncle Nearest story. So you're right. In so many areas we can find where we have excelled, overperformed. It's nothing we can't do when people get out of our way and the opportunities are present and we have the tools and resources that we need to succeed. So we look forward to welcoming you to the city and your wife on Saturday and over the course of the weekend. Now everybody gonna be trying to figure out what church you're gonna be at. Folks that haven't been to church all year, get ready to go to church.
Yes.
So yes, I just want to tell you, like, you are an incredible spokesperson. Or I should say surrogate for the campaign. You bring an authenticity that I think has been missing from a lot of surrogates when we talk over the years to different campaigns, and you are resonating and landing in a way that's different from a lot of people. So thank you for what you're doing, because
Thank you.
you're going to reach some folks that would have otherwise been left on the field. So we appreciate
Yes.
you, bro.
Thank you very much. I look forward to coming to Milwaukee.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much,
See you
Mr.
Saturday.
All right, now, Mr. Wendell Pierce. Y'all, that voice is madness. This, and then, to be able to run it down. I'm joining the studio. My man, Mr. Terrence Ray, came up in here. What's going on, T. Ray?
Good afternoon.
No, don't even try it. Don't even try it. You can't follow that voice.
Well, I had to
sorry.
run up here because he is one of my favorite. I'm a huge fan from Get on the Bus, the role he played in Get, and Ray.
Yes.
There's a scene in Ray where he and Jamie Foxx are fighting.
Right.
And Ray's handler say, Ray, I told you about fighting people you can't see. But yeah, I saw him at the DNC. And I just was trying to get up here to let him know the foundation of going into barbershops. When you talk about what Democrats have done for us, it was Barack Obama who actually started what was called barbershop buzz that has evolved into Real Men, Real Talk.
Okay.
That's where it started at.
Okay.
When we were doing the fatherhood stuff, we were trying to figure out black male engagement, and we were sitting up talking, and it was like, go to the barbershops where the brothers be at.
Right.
Barack Obama sent his cabinet level person, Joshua Dubois, the head of the Office of Faith-Based Initiative, sent him here to Milwaukee to see what we were doing, and we actually came up with Barbershop Buzz. And again, it has evolved into Real Men. That's initially was supposed to go around to barbershops and talk to brothers about black male engagement. And to hear him saying that that's what he's coming to do again, it's just moved me to come up here and just try to get in. I'm telling you, I'm really excited because I'm a fan of his, and I will be at most of those events Saturday if I can. I mean, God willing.
And it's like I said, because when you listen to him, this is not just some celebrity, they tap me because I'm famous and y'all seen my movies. Right. When the bruh starts running down, I'm not just talking this, I'm walking it because I'm going back. He's from, and I always mispronounce it, but I think it's Pontchartrain.
Pontchartrain.
Yeah, New Orleans. Yeah. And so, like when Katrina came, it wiped out that whole area. Yeah. This was one of the first black suburbs after the war. Mm-hmm. And his father talked about coming back and that GI loan not being able to be used by him to create for his family the same things that have been created for other families.
So this brother to get engaged, though, that's not typical national politics.
Wait, say that again?
His plan to get engaged is not typical DC politics, national politics. They usually send in like the national people like the Secret Service and begin to treat the local people like Barney Fifes. For real. But he's coming in with a plan to go right to the community.
I mean, well, I think that's the one thing that has been, interesting about the Harris, and I'm gonna say Harris Walls, but I think this was already in play before Walls comes on board, is the willingness to surround yourself with different voices and people with different experiences.
You have to.
That it does not have to be this cookie cutter approach to how we lead and how we're engaged. And so that's what, but I mean, there's no way you turn this dude down when he calls, because I'm sure on some level, this may have been initiated by him. When he says, I want to go and speak to this community.
The fact that he said he wanted to is like, it blew me away.
I mean, but listen to the stuff that he said. I'm in the redevelopment, commission for our city. Mm-hmm. I am, dealing, the name of the grocery store is Sterling Farms that they had. Cause I wanted to ask him, like, how did they come up with the name Sterling Farms? What's the story behind that? Cause I know it's a story, but he looks around and says, okay, you rebuild housing, but these people still don't have nowhere to go shop.
Right.
So what do we do to address that need? Food deserts. Like there was not a single area that he didn't hit on that he didn't say, I'm working in that area. Mm-hmm. I got a plan for that. We dealing with that.
Bringing up block grants and Pell grants. I have to, and the desire to get black men, some of whom or a large percentage of whom of us are in, have been touched by the criminal justice system. That is a population that needs to be tapped into. And the fact that he's coming to talk to black men. I am a recipient of Pell grants. you know.
But you remember though the way Pell Grants were weaponized and used
Right.
against brothers,
Yes.
because as I have frequently
Yes,
said on this show,
Yes.
the
Yes.
only crime
Yes.
that you could commit at one time in this country
Mhm.
and be ineligible for federal financial
Come
aid
on.
to go to college
it.
was selling drugs.
Yeah.
The only
That-
crime.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
could have committed murder.
Yeah.
You could have been a rapist. You could have been a child pedophile.
Mhm.
Name the
Mhm.
litany of crimes you
Mhm.
could have committed.
Mhm.
You still would have been eligible
For
for
a Pell
federal
Grant.
financial
Yep.
aid
Yep.
that you could have got while you was in jail.
While you were incarcerated.
While you were
Yes,
incarcerated.
Yes. Yes. Fortunately, I was.
I'm just saying.
I was able to.
I'm just saying.
And took the Pell
if you go,
Grant. Yes. Yeah.
So what
I'm
did that?
excited.
So what does that mean? That lets you know how people are fearful
Yeah.
of an educated black man.
Exactly.
That lets
That's
you
why
know.
I love you.
That lets you know.
That's why I love you, because if you don't do nothing, I ain't gonna tell the story how you just excited me one day back in the day. But you've had that ability to encourage and inspire. I'll use the word inspire black men that you have with me. And so, I mean, I'm excited just the fact that you had the brother on as a guest and he was saying a lot of the things that I'm in favor of, that I'm down with. And so, another example again of how you do what you do.
And let me just tell you, I appreciate it because I know it's bros out there that think I give bros a hard time.
You do.
But I tell people all the time, whatever, when I stop talking to you, you got a problem. When I stop talking about you, that's when you got a problem.
I mean, you call me Ralph Tresman. I'm still up in the studio with you, just trying to get up here. But yeah, no, I know you love black men. I know you love black people.
I mean,
and at the end of the day, that's what's up.
And but like the expectation level, because people always, you're supposed to head of the household. I'm like, look here, y'all. I'm not gonna do all of that with y'all. But what I will say is that I know we go nowhere as a people if brothers ain't ready to be those, to be prepared, to be in those driver seats, to be a part of the solutions. Like we don't go. I've never believed that sisters do any of this by themselves.
But you know how long I've been in the fatherhood game, right? I have evolved because I was like that too. When I first started, it was fatherhood, man, male. At the end of the day, my evolution is such that right now you can't have fatherhood without motherhood, and you can't have motherhood without fatherhood. We need to be working together. And my frustration with the lack of what I consider to be protection of sisters. I've never lived a period in my life, particularly my professional adult life, where I've seen so many cases of black men killing black women. I mean, murder, shooting. Don't get me wrong. I come up during Iceberg Slip. I come up during 3rd Street. Okay, when that was the stroll down there, and I would sneak out the crib to go down there and watch what they was doing back then when I wasn't supposed to. So I understand that part of it, but to literally, we have an epidemic of black men burning up the baby, killing the mama, killing the baby, all of that. That's foreign as hell to me, and I'm just keeping it real.
I mean, and I certainly appreciate the voicing of it, because there have been like conversations that I've had with sisters as we are talking to young sisters, and like, hey, y'all need to understand who you messing with, fam. Because the mentality of some of these cats,
if I can't have you, nobody can.
I mean, not just that, but they'll treat you like another dude in the street. You need to understand, like, fuses is short, tempers are flaring, and it's a lot of people that don't have good self-control.
If you could have a Puff Daddy do what he did on video, that's just me.
He didn't know he was.
It don't matter. It don't matter if then he shouldn't have did it.
I'm just telling you. I'm just
okay.
saying.
He might not have known, but to treat a woman like that, I've been mad as heck at women before. Yeah. A whole lot of them, but well, first of all, I didn't grow up with that in my house, though.
But
so
wait,
I didn't see that.
Let me go to break. All right, y'all. As you can see, conversation then got even more intense. Terrence Rader came in, add his 12 cents to the conversation. We'll be right back. Michelle Bryant.
I'm
just saying, then we flow. Michelle Bryant. Be right back.
While this catchy slogan may serve as a poignantly potent political phrase, is it, in practical terms, a pragmatic proposition in the real world today? I submit, if you please, certainly not. Now, there will always be those of us who long for the good old days, either because we weren't there or we've simply forgotten what those days were actually like.
Make America great again. Make America great again.
Times are steadily changing, and we have adjusted since 1492 with aplomb. That's right, here in America, we accept the good with the bad, the happy with sad, the rain with the sun, and the Democratic Republican, Libertarian, Green, and Tea Parties all the same. We may not agree with what you have to say, but we'd let you voice your opinion anyway. Make America great again. Make America great again. Ah, melting pot of diversity fighting a juggernaut of adversity. Now, you've got to admit, 87 years ago, the Confederates had a strong business model. Guaranteed riches from an ill-got industry mostly realized on the backs of African immigrants, the enslavement of whom has been designated, regulated, and propagated as a natural birthright. Lo, thus arose our great nation's preeminent dilemma, firmly lodged in that most peculiar of institutions. What to do, what to do.
Make America great again. Make America great again.
Rather than uphold the basic tenets of our Constitution, these good old boys wage war against our United States of America. Without a good backup plan. To my eye, it's a curious sight to see that rebel flag raised proudly next to our stars and stripes, because that particular flag represents not only Southern pride, but also anti-American sentiment. It represents the longing for American freedom without the sacrifice of responsibility that accompanies it. Didn't they know freedom ain't free? Form a more perfect union, blah, blah, blah. We got the right to this here land of the free. It's our manifest destiny. How?
Make America great again. Make America great again.
Man, we are making entirely too much money over this hustle to just let this thing go on principle. Who are you kidding? Through the Middle Passage and Trail of Tears, 10 wars, 8 recessions, a Great Depression, women's suffrage, whites and colored only, South moving north and East moving west, landing on the moon, Lewis and Clark to our national parks. I am American. Protecting our American dream by any means necessary. United we stand, making America great again.
All right, folks. So I know you recognize the voice. That was none other than Mr. Wendell Pierce. And that title of that song, which was actually cut, it's on a recording. Defelio Marcellus, or Delfeo, I always say his name incorrectly. Marcellus and the Uptown Jazz Orchestra. You know, like I said, he's from New Orleans. You hear his New Orleans roots present. And he actually did this back in 2016 when Hillary Clinton was running for office. 2016 is the first time, you know, in that whole Make America Great Again slogan. And he talked about basically white boys uprisings. And then you think about fast forward to the January 6th folks. Like a lot of the things that he referenced, you ultimately end up seeing play out. So I just wanted people to hear that. Because that piece I love that piece.
Speaking of that, speaking of Hillary Clinton, I actually saw the Republican VP use the word deplorable the other day.
To talk about
who? Women, as a matter of fact.
JD Vance.
He used the word deplorable. You know, I'm not going to say similar in context that Hillary did, but we all know what happened when she used the word deplorable and what happened to her. But he used the word deplorable, and that was all I saw. I didn't see no backlash from it.
So they said that he quickly took it off of his his website, JD Vance's Basket of Deplorables.
I know I saw it.
So let's see exactly what did he say.
He was referencing women. I know that.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if that's when he was making the reference to the childless cat ladies.
No, it was after. I think it was after that.
But because they first mentioned it in July 26th is when I see it mentioned.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was in connection to that, but you know, they have scrubbed the websites clean of him using his term. But I mean, it's a double standard, obviously. They can talk about one thing, do the exact same thing.
Right.
We need to look at it differently. You know, as people were gearing up for football season, my brother, I was talking to him over the weekend, and he's like, all right, I gotta go. I gotta go. I was like, what? He was like, game about to come on. You gotta go. I gotta go. And I was like, what? He said, look here.
Boycotting?
Of course I'm still boycotting. And that's what I was gonna say. My brother was like, look here, Malcolm. Go on with your bush. With your bitch. I gotta go. I'm watching the game. And I was like, you sell out. And I talked about him like a dog. And he was like, get me a t-shirt.
I know how you
I'm gonna wear it. I'm gonna be a sellout. Give me a t-shirt. And then he said, but I'm watching college ball. So we started laughing. But you know, I thought about like when me and my brother had that moment, Colin Kaepernick took a knee.
Right.
He took a knee.
Right.
He didn't cuss nobody.
Right.
He didn't dog nobody. He didn't say anything ugly, as my mother would say. So ugly. He didn't do any of that. He took a knee that had been suggested by a member of the military.
Yes, a white member of the military.
He took a knee.
Yes.
This man loses everything he had worked for in terms of his profession. I'm not talking about ancillary side deals, Nike coming through, the book deal that
football quarterback position.
I mean,
everything you
work for your entire life, you lose it.
Yeah.
But then these same people, Donald Trump can call him an SOB, and these same people listen to all of the stuff that they are being told by generals that Trump has said, Gold Star families that he's publicly disrespected. You know, what's been said about handicapped people, differently able people, like all of this is out there. But that's why you understand the power of hate and racism.
That part. The Arlington thing, when I texted you and you said you had seen it already, and then you mentioned it again today, just the audacity to go up in there and where the rules are clearly stated. But because I want to come up in here and have a photo op, you know, and then to deny it, and your people up in there pushing folks around.
Second time they have pushed a female at a press event.
And
Second time.
Couple that with the stuff you have actually said about veterans, and I don't like people who get captured. I like,
but I mean, but you think about too, like somebody else witnessed what was done to that woman.
Right.
And you had people that are his supporters that you didn't mind what happened to that woman, who I believe was a member of the military. The way they talked about her, she may have been a member of the military herself. But for the U.S. Military to come out so strongly, and make the statement, yes, there was an altercation.
To the former commander in chief.
Yeah, she decided not to call the police, given the gravity of who it is and all that's involved. That was her choice. But they came out and confirmed that yes, this happened, and they got video of it happening.
Right.
And so when Trump,
but this is the
same
people, man, Michelle, who said he could go in the middle of Fifth Ave or what's his name?
To a degree, he's somewhat proven it to be true.
Exactly. I guess that's my point. To be able, I knew he had lost it for me most recently, when out of all the things that Kamala Harris has from a credential standpoint, and the best the man could come up with, I heard him being interviewed, and he actually said, "But I look better than her."
I mean, on.
Just the petty.
But Joe Biden is slipping. Joe Biden is off. Joe Biden is incapable. But this man say cuckoo for Cocoa Puff stuff every day.
And not only that,
every day.
Before the
excuse.
decision was made, there was an ABC poll that's 70% of the American people, and that was a combination of Democrats and Republicans, said that they did not want to see a race between those two again.
Right.
Okay. So Biden's gone, but now you still got one of them old heads around, and the issue of age don't even come up about dude. The issue of age was the driving argument before, but now, and he is he not older than Biden?
No, he was 3 years younger than Biden.
That's still old.
I mean, no, because you think about like a Jim Clyburn who sat right here in this studio and did the thing.
Right.
Jim Clyburn is 80 years old or somewhere in that.
But the people made that the issue. That's, I guess that's what I'm saying.
Right. So I never fully bought into you so old, because 70 to me is not that old.
But when you 70 and you at a third grade, your vocabulary is at a fifth grade level.
But his vocabulary was that when he was 40 and when he was 30. He didn't become 70 and lose his vocabulary. He never had one.
Right.
Bigly. That's one of his joints. Bigly. I mean, Donald Trump has never had any depth.
He's never been able to articulate. And so
no.
When
and I love somebody had talked about, like Black folks don't have the luxury of failing forward.
Right.
And wealth affirmative action. Right. Because you got into schools because of your parents' wealth. Right. And who you had access to.
And a $200 million start.
And then you almost lose it all. If you didn't lose it all. Because you done
casino go
5 times.
A casino.
Yeah, a casino which is designed to take your
make
money.
Make and take your money.
Yeah, I mean, it's built to take your money.
Exactly.
The odds are against you walking in the door. Only Donald Trump could bankrupt a casino.
In terms of that, in the early 90s, when he was the stuff, and you had anytime you would mention Trump, when you would mention in the rap game, when you would mention hanging out at Trump Towers and all of that, how many rappers have inserted his name and the imagery of Trump and all of that in their music?
Said 156 times.
Okay.
His name appears in rap songs. There's enough. Somebody wanted to count it.
Okay, and I didn't know it was that many. I knew it was a bunch of times.
It's a stupid number of times that his name has been inserted musically.
So they take a little bit of time for that illusion to wear off. It's sort of like sitting next to white folks in class. We'll get smarter, man.
I mean, but the sad part is that, we actually had a caller to the show who tried to tell you how smart it is to file bankruptcy 5 times as a business, because at the end of the day, you writing off them debts, you getting out of it. And
but you got 5 bankruptcies.
But, not appreciating the fact that those 5 bankruptcies have now prevented you from doing business with an American bank. So you have to go out of the country to be able to secure financing.
Right. Which he had to do.
Yeah, which he had to do.
Was it
Deutsche Bank.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that I'm like, bruh, and this was a Meech argument, as you make this argument, fam, what part about this man's credit is so bad he can't do
even
business
get
in this
American
country?
money.
No, you had to leave the country to go get financing for your next projects. Then we find out half of the buildings bearing his name, you don't even own those buildings. You don't even own them. Your name was used on them to give the allure of something popping in a city, but you don't even own them. Kind of like when Oprah Winfrey was talking about she was the owner of the eccentric restaurant. You wasn't. It was not your restaurant.
So maybe we need to talk to some New York folks then to see what it's like on the ground. No,
I mean,
for real.
But they know. That's why a lot of New York socialites don't mess with Donald Trump. People from old money, real money, they didn't mess with this dude. That was like, you can't buy enough gaudy gold toilets to be, in the clique. That's why he didn't mind moving to Mar-a-Lago, because there wasn't no love for him in New York. You had to run with the rappers and the wrestlers and the the people from a different social strata than the folks that actually had money like you had money, had way more money than you had, because they turned their nose up at dude. Because they was like, your family money was built off of bootlegging and prostitution and real estate practices that was discriminatory.
Right. A lot of other families too.
But, of course. Yeah. But our stuff was way better managed. Everybody didn't know we was bootlegging.
Yeah.
Everybody didn't know. I mean, we stole Uncle Nearest product. Yeah. We ain't just get out here selling
when he
liquor in mason jars.
Oh my God. I actually went to the distillery. Had the pleasure of going to the distillery and saw the biggest bar in the world.
Where's my thing? Oh,
for Uncle Neary, man.
Yeah, Uncle Nearest. I mean, like I said, I just bought the Love and Whiskey book. I had it, and I haven't had. I think I've only read probably the first 10 pages. But I actually met his family members at CBC last year, at Congressional Black Caucus last year. And his niece.
Last year?
Yeah, last year. Congressional Black Caucus, they were there.
Oh, I'm thinking of NBCSL.
Oh, yeah,
I was at NBCSL when we went on the tour of the facility.
Right. Yeah, no, Congressional Black Caucus. His family members was there. I actually ended up talking to like one of the great nephews or somebody in the food chain. But when you just understand the history, and then I went back and on the book, either on the book jacket or somewhere, there's a photo of Jack Daniels and the whole situation, and Uncle Nearest is centered dead in the center, and Jack Daniels is standing next to him. And one of the things that they said is that it was understood that this old black man was pivotal to what was going on there. And so there was a certain level of deference and respect shown to him, because here you are, the only black man on that photo, but you dead center standing next to the president of the company.
Yeah.
Why?
Wow. That's some optics for your
if you thought about it.
Yeah, that's some optics.
Because I'm a person that pay attention to stuff like that
too.
without anybody telling me anything. Yes. And he's sitting there chilling like I ain't scared.
Right.
And
when you and if you know any of the history, he wasn't. And it's like to go into that place and to know, I'm not gonna say it's the same as Glory Island, seriously, but to go in there and know that this emanated for some black folks, and they say it was the biggest bar in the United States, if not the world.
Right.
I mean, they laid it out, grits and shrimp, and I mean they did the damn thing there.
It's one I haven't been yet, but I'm planning to get there.
It is worth it.
My goal is to get there this year. But I can only imagine. And I got some souvenirs brought back. One of my people was there and brought me back a souvenir, which I appreciated. And I used that cup. Like if you ever pay attention to me on camera, I'll have a black whatever.
A cup from there?
Yeah, well, it's not the cup, it's the tubular thing.
But
it has Uncle Nearest right on the front.
And I have a hat, and I mean, I wore my hat so much I had to not stop wearing it because it got full of sweat.
And and one of the things, and caller, I see you, I'll be right there. But one of the things I told people is that, I go into places and intentionally order Uncle Nearest. And I said, I've had, been out and a brother looked at me, like, oh my God, like, I know they don't carry that. And I just kind of smiled and went on with the the meal. But I'm like, and what you don't understand, player,
Right.
is that if you don't ask for it,
Right.
nobody ever knows.
Right.
It never
Right.
gets carried.
Right.
So we have a responsibility to go into some of these establishments and say, do you carry Uncle Nearest?
Mhm.
Because if the public demands it, somebody gonna go find it.
Hey,
That's how
just-
you move. That's how
yeah.
you move product. And
That's
so
why
I started laughing.
that
And I was
sound like
like,
another whole game.
I'm
there,
just
man.
saying,
That's how you move
you know,
product.
as I know I did say that kind of slick,
You
didn't
did
I?
say that real slick.
I'm just
That's
saying.
how you move product.
I'm just
the
saying.
supply and demand.
Hey, I'm just
That's
saying.
an economic term.
But it really is,
it's
one
really.
of those things, just trying to help people understand, like this game is bigger than what you see.
It's the essence of capitalism, man.
You got to
Supply
know
and
how,
demand,
you
man.
got to understand somehow how to
we
make
can
some of
create
these moves.
like what you just described. We can create demand. We just don't really appreciate that we can.
And that's what I'm just saying. Like, so I go everywhere I go. That's like before I order anything, I
Right.
know it's not on the menu.
Right.
But I'm gonna be, as my brother calls me, my nickname for my brother and me is Crispy. Extra crispy. That's what my brother called me. Extra crispy. Now some folks gonna be like, cause I'm dark skinned.
Yeah, I don't doubt.
But he's
I know
like,
why.
but my brother's like, no, that is not why she is called extra crispy, because she dark skinned. My brother would tell you, this the blackest Negro I know in terms of loving her people, herself, and her community. This girl eats, breathes, and sleeps blackness.
I have to agree with your
And
brother.
know, and so
For
but
real.
it sounds funny because his friends be like, he'd be like, oh, this extra crispy on the phone. Let me call you back. And especially down in the South where everybody color struck, he'll be like, man, why you talking about your sister like that? And they know I'm dark skinned. So they be like, dog, you out of order. Call your sister extra crispy. And my brother, he's like, nah. He was like, if she hear it, she ain't offended.
I'm gonna use that one.
Yeah,
I
she
love
ain't
that.
offended. Let me go. Oh,
Very well.
I'm just saying, the things that I heard Wendell say about, I got resources and I got a platform. So I'm coming back to make sure that happens for my community. That's the thing that people get upset with me about, because I watch people have platforms. And I watch even fake platforms because somebody gave them to them and they can take them away from them. So, show your behind there while you can, because it's not really your platform. You on borrowed time. But my frustration in watching people who could give voice to our concerns and they say nothing. But your butt is in the room. You at that fake proverbial table. You got the ear of these people. They hand chose you, I think because they thought we can manage you and control you. But let's just say, for whatever reason, you in the room and you don't raise the issues important to this community. You don't chin check somebody when they say something out of pocket, or you don't flag for people. You do realize this look racist. You do understand how what you said landed and it sounded crazy. You do understand that telling people you colorblind means you have a deficiency. Right. It's not a good thing. Right. Like, that's the part that drives me crazy. So yeah, I got a platform and I'm going to say black stuff every chance I get. Because somebody was like, oh my God, it's a white guy that listened to the show. And he was like, oh my God, Michelle, are we going to get through our show without the black white stuff? Are we going to get through? I'm like, no, we not. No, we not. Why you tune in? Because you already know. And I got black people that do it too. Right. Come on, Michelle, we can't do black stuff every day. I can. Right. Because ain't nobody else doing it on that level. Because you can't. You work at places that don't give you the ability to even voice the stuff. Right. Right. So you can't do it. If you wanted to, you can't. But some of y'all, you could do more, but you just so happy to be in the room. You just so happy to have a seat. They gonna elevate you. They gonna make you the assistant, the leader, the water carrier. They gonna make you important. They gonna help you pay your mortgage. So what you do? You look the other way. Yeah. While we losing. But then if people tell you, like I just heard something today. Right. Let me tell you what I heard today. So I was talking about school this morning, and kids got to know their responsibilities, what they got to do. Parents got to understand their responsibilities, extended family, grandparents, aunts, uncles. We all got a role to play in making sure we educate these babies and get them through the process. I also talked about what has to happen on the teacher's end. Somebody said, you ain't mentioned administration. Somebody said that to me. As soon as I got off the radio station, I got a phone call. I wasn't in my truck 2 seconds. Somebody said, you ain't mentioned administration. And I said, I did mention holding the school board accountable, going to the the meetings. They said no, administration, like the Keith Posley stuff of the world. And I was like, well,
Really?
like, what do you mean? Oh my God! By the time I got an earful from this educator, I was too through. People talked about the political games that get played. Like, I didn't know we have a situation where we have people that are working in public schools in Milwaukee that are the acting principal in charge, or the assistant principal in charge. They call them APICs, assistant principal in charge. And they've been that for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. How you got an assistant principal
Where they do that at?
acting in charge for 4, 5 years? So you don't have to pay these people to be principals. Then I'm supposed to expect those people to give a 100% to my kids. And then what I found out is at a lot of the schools that are where some of the kids that have had the most challenges go.
Right.
So these transitional schools,
right.
These schools where you're doing recovery credits and all of that kind of stuff. That you got people in those buildings that Keith Posley and them playing games, protecting budgets, didn't want to pay people, but you got these people doing the work of a principal, and you got it doing it for 3, 4, 5, 6 years. But you will not pay these people principal pay.
Salary, right.
You won't give them the principal title. But anybody else coming to that school, if they got to talk to the person in leadership, they talking to that person. And so people was like, it's a whole bunch of bases that need to be covered.
Right.
We got people that's creating an atmosphere in which people coming in the building don't want to be there to educate our kids because they're not getting treated right by MPS.
Right. I've seen that.
And if Amy Miziako's name come up one more time, somebody said to me, while you harping on it, you got a minority school district, predominantly Black. You got a predominantly Black minority city. When you look at and you got Black school board members and you've had all these Black superintendents, but the real people calling the shots is the white folks that lead the teachers union.
Yeah.
Even with that sister they got sitting there in the role that she in, the real people calling the shots for MPS is white women, white people.
Yeah.
Even though this is a majority minority school district. And I said it's reminiscent of many situations. We got a Black face now, but white folks is in the background still calling the shots. And so people like, oh, you should be coming up because you got all these Black people. But it's Black people with white folks' agendas. And so over and over again, that's why that school board referendum failing was such a sad thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because you literally are talking about, think about that, a majority minority school district.
Yeah.
But if you look at who is running stuff, it is white women and the white folks in the top of the food chain with the Milwaukee Teachers Union. We gotta, somebody said, watch out for Wauwatosa District. They're going to move in. I mean,
you talked about that too.
Yeah.
Is Demond still over there?
Yeah, Demond is over there.
I didn't know. I didn't know if he was.
Last
still...
I heard,
okay.
yeah, he was there.
Okay.
All right, look. So I'm at the end. We have gone. Terrence came in, blew up my show, and took over.
I was excited. I'm excited about Saturday. That's what drew
me.
So
I will get some people have asked me, like, Michelle, can you kind of get some more information? Tell people where you're gonna be, because they got a registration site too, so you can Excuse me, because I'm telling you, everybody, their daddy gonna be at some of this stuff.
Right.
You know,
right,
and
right.
it is people trying to figure out what churches he gonna be at on
right,
Sunday.
right.
Think about it. Y'all know they're gonna take him to probably the bigger churches. Just think about it. And the
And
churches
he
that's
already
more,
said he going 2 G's. So
yeah, he gonna be definitely
yeah,
be at G's.
yeah, it's
But I
gonna
know
be
he's doing
packed.
other barbershops
Right.
besides
That
G's.
good.
And then some people asked me about the video. Thank you, Sister Herrera. She actually sent me a link to the 25-minute video that he referenced. So I'll get as much of this information out as possible. But y'all, at least go see what the brother talking about. At least do that. All right, family. I got to get out the way. Mr. Ride Out.
Yeah. Asparagus.
I was gonna say I didn't get a name from you today.
Yeah, because you moved on quick, but zucchini gonna
America
be
great
tomorrow.
again.
I just,
That's
Carvey
it.
Shorts threw us off, man. So.
Thighs high to the sky.
Thighs high through.
Thighs high.
Did you see the look he just gave me? He gave me that look.
Hey, Carvey gonna tell us a whole new one when we get off the air.
I'm just glad I taught you some undisputed truth, huh? The Papa was a Rolling Stone and smiling faces. I sent you that text, you know.
I didn't get that from you.
Yes, you did.
I didn't.
Thank you, Michelle, for allowing me to
Okay, I got it from you. Dude, black people kill me, always want credit.
Yeah, give us credit.
I did it.
They wouldn't give us 40 acres and a mule. At least give us credit.
And I can't get it.
Yeah,
from
man,
my
get that
people.
man his credit,
I can't
man.
get it from my people. And
Or at least
or
at least give him 32 acres.
give me something.
And the bow-legged mule, give him something.
Give a brother something.
Bow-legged
Give a
bow-legged
mule. Give a
mule.
brother
A
something.
bow-legged mule.
Yeah, give him something.
All right.
man.
Yes.
All right.
You
Well, thank you,
told me
sweetheart. You
today.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you. All right, bros. I appreciate you. Long legs. Thank you. Appreciate you today. What you say? Gary gonna get you.
Man, he gonna tell me off. Carvey, I don't want no smoke, bro. He gonna tear me off.
It's not gonna go well.
No, it ain't gonna go. I'm running up out of here.
But it's gonna go well for me.
I'm
Because he
gone.
know he come for me.
Uh-oh.
I love that song. I do. It's been controversial too. All right. I gotta go. Peace, y'all. Talk to y'all tomorrow.